Hey guys, it is me and I'm back, and it's been a couple of days. I fell off my video making rocker. A couple things kind of sent me for a spiral. Excuse me. I was gonna go yet another day without doing a video, and everything inside of me was like, you have to make one tonight. So I don't know where I left off. Could have been day 16 or 17, but I know today is day 20. And this month has been quite a month. I started this month on it, super excited to just delve into losing a half a pound of body fat every day for the rest of the month. And I really, it's totally transitioned to like everything that is weighing inside of me that's just ready to come out. And I'm not huge on astrology. I love when people tell me about astrology. But apparently this is a pretty big moon month, and I definitely feel like things are really coming to the surface. So, a lot of just really big, deep core wounds have been coming up. I've been recently, in the last week or so, like super triggered in the area of relationship and relating to others, and a lot around abandonment, like that abandonment and codependency has really come up hard for me to take a step back and see kind of where this is all rooted and healing that. So lots of shame as well coming up with that. So I'm really just being present with myself and learning a lot of different techniques in terms of like what works for me in letting go and the transfer of energy back and forth. And one thing that I had learned was, so one of my friends, we were talking the other day, and forget what we were talking about, but we were talking about the realm of like forgiveness, because I was really frustrated, right? I was really frustrated at something, and when we get in victim consciousness, is where there seems to be a lot of blame, right? So when we get into kind of a victim mode of like, this happened and this is happening, and I'm doing the work, I'm going back in time, and then I'm tracing it back to childhood, and I'm so frustrated that this even happened, and blah blah blah. And subconsciously or even consciously, sometimes we could get really frustrated, right? And we can start to blame, well, this person when I was 4 years old did this, which is totally valid, absolutely valid. I've been doing inner child work it's totally necessary for everybody who does it. I encourage literally everybody to do it. It's so important. And I was talking with my friend, and it was such a profound shift for me, especially pulling me out of that like trigger mode. And I was like, I just want to like let it go. I just want to let it go. I just want this to be healed already. You spend so much time sometimes on certain topics, and then you realize you're just peeling back layers sometimes because it'll pop up again. And what he said was, you just need to forgive. You need to embrace them, and forgive. And so in my mind, I was like, yeah, you're right. You're right. And I was still in my little victim mode. But when we got off the phone, when I was thinking, because I was embarrassed about my own behavior, like this is what it was. I was embarrassed about my own behavior, and I was like, I can't, like, I'm so frustrated that this is even a problem for me, and like I'm so angry with my parents, and then I like visualized myself making a fool of myself in my mind, right? Like judging the experience as me making a fool. So I'm judging myself in this experience, and then I'm in that victim mode, and then here comes the blame, and then my mind goes to my parents, right? So when I'm off the phone with my friend, I go for a little walk, and I'm thinking about it because it's like I was triggered, right? So it's kind of ruminating. And then when I went back then when my mind wanted to re-experience it and relive it and re-trigger, I seen myself do whatever I did to embarrass myself in my mind, right? And instead of going down that rabbit hole of like getting frustrated at myself, I watched what happened, the trailer or the movie or whatever, and then I pictured my mom and dad. I pictured myself seeing it on a movie screen, and I pictured my mom and my dad just standing right next to me, and you could picture anybody, like anybody that you're thinking of and you're frustrated, like, why did you teach me this, or why did I have this experience, and blah, 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 that like created these fears or whatever. And I pictured them, or I felt their energy right beside me. And then I said, I love you, and I forgive you, and I embrace you. And I was like giving them a hug, and we were watching it on the screen, then we were just laughing. And then and then immediately my favorite, or like what came into my mind was like my favorite, not my favorite comedian, but like someone that I just love so dearly, Elyse Myers. If you've ever seen her videos on YouTube or on Facebook and stuff, they're so funny. And I just love her quirky humor and kind of like a dry humor, because I embarrass myself. Like, I am quirky, and sometimes what I say just doesn't make any sense. And sometimes I just like kick myself, But what I started to say, which like I remember having at work just this really awkward like conversation, it was just really funny, and I was totally embarrassed. And all I could think of, because I was like, Brittany, seriously, why'd you, like, come on, But then all of a sudden it was like, you know what? If Elyse Myers was telling this story, it would be hilarious, and that makes it all worth it. So then in that moment, I was like having somebody like Elyse Myers on the movie screen do like playing out myself, and it just really brought a lot of humor to it. And I felt like it was just such a way to bring in a new energy to the experience, because the meaning that we give our experiences can have such a profound effect on our daily living, right? So especially with some of these core wounds, if an event happens where we're completely triggered, can kind of send us into a spiral if we don't have the tools to help us understand a new perspective, bring in, that new perspective, bring in a means of really allowing ourselves to be present with it, but an effective way where we are actually transforming that energy so that way it doesn't still have that, continue to have that charge within ourselves. And so it's just these last couple days have been a lot of peeling back the layers, and I apologize for being so late on the videos, but I will be making a couple of additional videos to talk about some of the techniques that I've used to help me overcome and bring in new perspective, but then also really dive deeper into addressing roots of things, like just another tool to have in your toolkit, and then how we can allow ourselves, our bodies to eliminate it, our emotional, our mental, kind of all the layers of our body also is going to be transitioning as that energy shifts in the body. So today I'd like to say, if you are going through any sort of like release, like, or big event where emotionally you just kind of feel triggered, and maybe you're embarrassed because because that trigger is like, you're kind of in this state of dysregulation and fight, flight, or freeze, or like you don't know how to respond or react, and then maybe you're embarrassed, or you're frustrated, or you're angry, or you're resentful. I would offer you to bring in the approach, if it feels appropriate to you, to, instead of letting go, like sometimes we have this like, I said like a lot tonight, maybe I'm just really focused on it, but we have this tendency when things feel really gunky to not want it to be there. So then we focus so much on the letting go process, and not so much on the just being present and feeling and allowing process, allowing what is to be present, and embracing. Like, that was a huge shift for me, and that's something that I want to share, is in this process of letting go. Everybody has their own techniques. So I want to offer this to add into your toolkit as well, is when we want to let go of someone or something that is kind of bringing in a dis-ease, like that energy that's not comfortable, right? We really want to let it go, and I've been there 1,000+ times. And when my friend mentioned like embrace, and I did, that changed absolutely everything for me. Absolutely everything. And today I was going through that as well. Like, I was thinking of an individual and I just felt so rejected. So it's like great, because all of these, like, the last couple of days have just been like a whirlwind of a lot of gunky emotions, which is wonderful. And instead of being like, oh, I just hate this feeling, like I'm so unworthy, there's something wrong with me, yada yada, that I would traditionally do, going down that spiral. And then when I'm so tired of feeling so negative, then it's like, oh, okay, what do I need to do? Instead, I said, okay, I feel this way when I think of this individual. Let me embrace that a little bit more. Let me embrace the situation, what is happening in this storyline that I'm thinking of with this individual, because what's the context that's making me feel rejected, and how can I see it in a different way? How can I bring in not only compassion for myself in that moment, but compassion for the other person, and know that just like I go through things and I have my own history and meanings that I've given things, like so have they, so do they. And is there another perspective that maybe something that I was missing before? Is there another angle that I can take here where I could bring a little bit of understanding and compassion? And what sort of cleansing can I bring to not only my energy, in this situation, but theirs too, if time really, right, if we can kind of move across time and space, we can go back to different time zones and really change the charge that certain experiences had within ourselves. And noting that nope, I take that note back. Nope, no note. So, really embracing. Is there something else here that I could understand more deeply? And then I think in terms of letting go, it's like this, I was thinking about the other day, it's kind of like you eat food, right? And then your body metabolizes the food and takes what it wants, and then it eliminates the waste through defecation, right? So I think about it in terms of embracing, right? So we are ingesting the experience, and then we are embracing and bringing closer and metabolizing the experience. So bringing in the lessons if we need to, extrapolate and bring in a new perspective, and then letting go, right? Letting go is the waste, the stuff that we brought in what we needed to, we learned, we are bringing in a new perspective, we are bringing in compassion and gratitude, and then we can let go at that point is what I found works for me. So if that is a tool that you can add to your toolkit, there you are. And I think moving forward, it's just like so much happening a lot, and it's wonderful. This is what I love so much, is just being present on this journey. And so moving forward, I think I'm just going to talk about what's coming up, and it doesn't have to do anything with my weight. In fact, I am changing yet again. I just don't even want to think that there's anything wrong with my weight anymore. I'm releasing that identity. Releasing it all. Like, I am working towards having a healthier relationship to food, so getting out of that like mindless eating, the bingey, so being more present. But since I was a little girl, so little, like young single digits, I remember being teased about my weight and my body, and like encouraged to be on diets when I was just a little kid from my childhood friend's mom. And I'm just over it. I'm done. I'm totally embracing me. I'm releasing even the thought, like totally releasing this identity that there's ever something wrong with my body. And just bringing in health and balance into my life that my body knows. And to trust it, and then working on the chatter and recognizing why I do what I do. And that is across the board in all different facets. So that is my update. It was pretty broad and pretty specific in some areas, and I'm just gonna keep posting, keep talking about what's coming up, and keep talking about different tools that I've been using. I've been learning new tools, finding new tools, coming up with new tools, and those moments where I'm like, I gotta do something. And I would love to share all of those with you all, so that way you can add them to your toolkit along your journeys, because I feel like the whole world is really shifting and we're all going through our own transformation, and the more that we can help encourage each other and help each other and find new ways that will help us understand what's going on, the better. So, love you guys. Good night until tomorrow. Bye.